Boris Johnson has refused to grant a second Scottish independence referendum following the once-in-a-generation vote in 2014. However, an amendment to a party resolution was submitted urging the SNP to set up a working group to consider all democratic and legitimate routes to Scottish independence and make recommendations on party strategy. Brexit breakthrough: Frost tells Boris Johnson to expect deal next week. The party resolution on the SNP conference agenda, seen by express.co.uk, suggests the party plan to defy Boris Johnson and not accept a Westminster veto on holding a second independence referendum vote. The conference, however, has rejected the proposals submitted by pro-independence think tank Commonweal and backed by Justice spokeswoman Joanna Cherry MP. Speaking about independence, the Edinburgh South West MP said the SNP cannot afford to be compliant on Indy Ref 2 after 13 polls showed support for a second vote. She said recently, a party in its third term of government, riding high in the polls with a leader whose approval ratings eclipsed the other UK party leaders, never mind the Scottish ones who, frankly, don't even rank. However, the SNP cannot afford to be complacent. The question for us now is what to do with this dominance, especially in the lead-up to the 2021 Scottish elections, less than 12 months away. The Edinburgh South West MP and supporter of Commonweal urged the SNP to set up a group to work on gaming a copper-bottomed strategy, the details of which need not be advertised to the enemy. But the final SNP National Conference agenda does not include the amendment put forward on the agenda, raising concerns the party lacks a final direction on Scottish independence. SNP Inverclyde councillor Chris Mslaney together with Western Isles MP Angus MacNeil also submitted another plan to the SNP National Executive which was rejected. The strategy suggested that winning a pro-independence majority would be grounds to start negotiations with Westminster for Scotland to leave the UK. The two SNP politicians said they were bitterly disappointed that their alternative approach will not be debated at next month's conference. Cherry added, unlike other political parties in the UK, the SNP exists not just to win elections and form governments but to achieve major structural change. The structures we seek to change are socio-economic as well as constitutional. We want to win independence for Scotland, not just as an end in itself but to make sure that the vital decisions about how we run our economy and our society are taken closer to home so that we can do things differently and better. The SNP said that a National Assembly will be set up on independence to discuss tactics and strategy for campaigning. The final conference agenda says of the concept, National Assembly will initiate a discussion on alternative routes to a legal referendum should the Westminster government continue to resist the wishes of the people of Scotland for another referendum. An SNP spokesman added, there is a consensus that an agreed referendum is the way to do this. A National Assembly to look at additional ways to hold a legal referendum has already been announced. And rather than restricting it to a select few, it offers the chance for any SNP member to input to that discussion, and that can only be a good thing.